Shalom. This is Truth is Everlasting, Lion's Den. I am Yahweh Sap. I camp out with Lion's Den, Hawan Ben Joshua in Jacksonville, Florida. But first, I'd like to give a prayer to the Father, to the Son, to the elders, to the archons, and to the women and children in Paleo Hebrew. Kal halayim la Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Bahashem ha-Rokah Kodash Mahamat. In the name of Yahweh Shai, in spirit and holy and in truth. Double honor to the 144,000 chosen elect. Double honors to the elders of GMS. Double honors to my elder Hawam. Salutations to the archangel on the four corners of the earth. And to the women and children, Shalom. Okay, this popped up on the phone, this video. And the Spirit moved me to do a lesson. And it's called How the U.S. Stole Puerto Rico. Right? And the lesson title here is called Avenge Not Yourselves. Okay? I'll play a little bit of it, then go into the lesson.
Okay, so it's 1898, and the Spanish Empire looks like this. But it's faltering. A lot of its colonies are fighting for independence. The United States gets involved and allies with a lot of these independence fighters. They say they want to liberate these colonies, and so they get into the war and they win. But instead of liberating Spain's colonies, they just take them for themselves. And one of those colonies was Puerto Rico. And so on an ordinary Tuesday in the late 1800s, there was a quiet ceremony that takes place on the governor's balcony in San Juan. After 400 years of Spanish rule, Puerto Rico, this island in the Caribbean, is simply passed from one ruler to the next. And this begins an unprecedented experiment in the Caribbean for the United States, an operation to extract resources, money, labor, and military protection from this small, beautiful island. They start by passing a law that gives the U.S. total political control over the island. They start appointing American leaders to govern the island, men who don't speak Spanish, don't know anything about Puerto Rico or its people. Most of these leaders treat the assignment like a business venture.
I applied to over 200 tech jobs and got rejected from every single one of them. And then
most of these leaders treat the assignment like a business venture. Like this one guy who, when he was the leader of Puerto Rico, starts to give public Puerto Rican funds to American-owned businesses on the island. Then he stacks the government with American loyalists. And then eventually he resigns. But then he returns to the island to build a sugar kingdom. Now with the help of all of the political officials that he had appointed, this company balloons into the largest global sugar business on earth.
And when it's domino, you're sure it's pure.
At the same time, U.S. banks descend on the island, giving out very predatory loans and then foreclosing on land, gobbling it up and turning it into, you guessed it, sugar farms. Puerto Rico is slowly turning into a sugar island and becoming more and more dependent on shipments from the mainland. The U.S. enacts a new policy that says that anything going into Puerto Rico has to be transported by American ships with American crews. So of course this skyrockets the prices for locals, which is made worse by the fact that the U.S. government had devalued and then outlawed the local currency. So now every Puerto Rican lost almost half of their wealth overnight. And as a part of this push to lock Puerto Rico in as their colony, they forbid Spanish in schools and public institutions. And so in this very short amount of time, the U.S. turned Spain's former colony into this giant sugar farm, stripping down local identity and language and culture in the process, and locking the people under their control. And then Congress gives Puerto Ricans U.S. citizenship, which conveniently was just in time for a giant global war. So Puerto Rican men got sent to the front lines to fight for the country that was in the process of pillaging their island. By 1922, a series of Supreme Court cases had solidified Puerto Rico as a, quote, unincorporated territory, which is just like word salad for the U.S. Constitution doesn't fully apply here. I mean, think about it. Unincorporated territory, this intentionally contradictory jargon that came from these men hundreds of miles away. But honestly, the message was very clear. Puerto Ricans did not look or sound enough like Americans to actually be a part of the United States. By the 1930s, big banks owned 60% of these sugar farms, 80% of the tobacco farms, and 100% of the railroads and shipping facilities. At the same time, Puerto Ricans were being paid less than 4 cents an hour. If you put that into today's currency by inflation, that's like $1 an hour. Poverty and malnutrition start to grip this island. All the while, the U.S. is turning the island into an essential military outpost. See how Puerto Rico juts out a little bit into the Caribbean? It served as a strategically positioned island to help protect trade routes and a place where you could refuel ships. Over time, more and more military bases and installations start to pop up on this island. The U.S. would go on to test thousands of bombs in Puerto Rico, leaving behind one of the most hazardous waste sites in the United States. And by the middle of the 1900s, Puerto Rico really starts to mirror what the U.S. envisioned. Puerto Rico, the sugar metropolis. Puerto Rico, the land of low wages and abundant laborers. Puerto Rico, the irreplaceable military outpost. The empire that billed themselves as the liberators from Spain is now an overlord, and the locals start fighting back. The fight is led by this guy, Pedro Albizu Campos. He's this poor kid who ends up going to Harvard. He graduates valedictorian from Harvard Law School. He serves the U.S. in World War I and even helps draft Ireland's independence constitution. Like, the guy's kind of a superstar. Ultimately, he returns to his hometown to attempt the impossible, Puerto Rican independence. But soon, Campos would find himself bouncing in and out of prison for 25 years.
Sorry, I can't translate this too fast. He's talking.
Distinto del poder enemigo que nos oculta. Tienen que ir a Estados Unidos a ser los esclavos de los poderes económicos de los tiranos de nuestra patria.
Things haven't quite escalated. This movement is just starting. Campos comes back to Puerto Rico with the goal of total separation from the United States, and people join him. A lot of people, just everyday, ordinary Puerto Ricans who are fed up with being exploited. They join them, they organize, and they call themselves the Nationalists. They run for office, they go on strike, and they fight back against this superpower that has been exploiting them. Momentum begins to pick up. And then the dominoes really start to fall. There was this American doctor. His name is Cornelius Rhodes, and he went to Puerto Rico saying he's going to do like health research or something. We know what he really was doing and thinking because he wrote this letter. Let me read it to you. He writes that Puerto Ricans are, quote, beyond doubt, the dirtiest, laziest, and most degenerate and thievish race of men ever to have inhabited this sphere. And he goes on to say that it makes him sick to, quote, inhabit the same island with them. But he doesn't stop there. He says that Puerto Ricans need, quote, something to totally exterminate the entire population. And then he admits to a crime. He says, I have done my best to further the process of their extermination by killing off 8 and transplanting cancer into several more.
Let's leave it at that. So you can see how wicked the Edomites are, and why Yahweh the Father will be sending his son, our king, from the tribe of Judah, tall, dark-skinned man, 10 feet tall, to remove the wicked Edomites, right, from power. Because they're not only doing it or done it to Puerto Rico or doing it to Puerto Rico, they're doing it to every Caribbean, around the world, right? Because our people, so-called Negros Latinos, Americans and speckled birds, we're all over the world. I want to go to Romans chapter 12, verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine. Woo! I will repay, said Yahweh Shai. I want to jump to verse 21. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Right? It's giving sound wisdom from above and not from below. Right? Don't go down to that level. Now, don't get it misunderstood. And the Bible does give us permission to defend ourselves. Okay? But not take vengeance. That we leave it in the hands to Yahweh Shai. I want to go to Deuteronomy 32, verse 35. To me belongs vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide into due time. For the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. Yeah. It's moving so fast at this time that by next year, every year it looks like it keeps getting worse and worse. Well, by next year, it's going to get worse than what it is this year. 2024, when that passes, 2025, things are going to get uglier for all of us, right? Around the world. But understand it's because Yahweh Shin Yahushai is testing, moving the chessboard and doing these things to get ready and remove the wicked that are in power and to test his people, right? The so-called Negros Latinos, Native and speckled birds, who's going to stand, right, unto death on his name, right? I mean, some of us are going to be thrown to FEMA camp, and some of us are going to be beheaded, okay? I want to jump to verse 43. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries, and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. The so-called Negros Latinos, Native Americans, and speckled birds, right? Now, he's only coming this time for 144,000 chosen elect, which is all men, okay? And I hope I'm one of them. And 1/3 of men, women, and children. He's not coming for all of his people. He's not coming for all the world, okay, people. That's not the way it works. 2/3 of our people are going to be left behind because they love this world. And they're going to participate in defending and protecting the wicked Edomites. All right? I want to go to Psalm 94. Oops. Chapter 94. Give me a minute. Verse 1. O Yahweh, power, to whom vengeance belongs. O Yahweh, to whom vengeance belongs, show thyself. Verse 2. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render reward to the proud. Right? I mean, these Edomites are very proud in what they're doing, raping, murdering, and plundering around the world. Right? And then they want the so-called Negro, Latino, Native, and speckled bird to participate. Right? And if you don't, throw you in jail, take everything you got, even your children's. Verse 3. Yahweh, how long shall the wicked triumph? Well, let's answer that with, let's go to Job chapter 20, verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, verse 5, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and that the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Yeah. I mean, we're living in the flesh, so everything seems like it's going slow. But when you start looking into the things with the eyes of the Holy Spirit, in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, things are moving faster than ever before. Okay? Which is beautiful. Let's go to Psalm 37. Where are you? Verse 35. So things are moving accordingly, thanks to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. 35. I have seen the wicked in great power, and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Verse 36. Yet he passes away, lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. That's right. There's gonna come a time sooner than everybody does not expect. Right? We don't know when. Not even Yahweh Shai or the angels know. But it will happen. And when Yahweh Shai comes back with the host of angels and remove these Edomites, huh? Yeah, they're not going to be no more in power. If anything, they're going to be in slavery for 1,000 years. Verse 36, yea, he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I saw him, but he could not be found. Okay? I already read that already, but I had to read it again. The Spirit moved me to do that. It sounds so good. Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 22. Say not thou, I will recompense evil, but wait on Yahweh, and he shall save thee. Right? We gotta, when it says wait, it's saying suffer. Okay? I mean, let's face it, let's be honest, right? You so-called Negros, Latino, Negro, and Speckled Bird. We're suffering every day. Right? The air is poison, the food is poison, the water is poison, the grass is poison, the earth is poison, the clothes is poison, the money is poison, right? So, by being patient and having faith, right? And most importantly, repenting, right? With fear and trembling. Because things are going to get so ugly that you're going to wish you have taken seriously, right, the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and repented and done the work to the best of your ability. Let's go to Ezekiel, verse 25. Chapter 25, Slakia, verse 17. And I will execute great vengeance upon them with fierce rebuke. And they shall know that I am Yahweh, when I shall lay my vengeance upon them. Oh yeah. When they see that tall 10 feet, dark skin, Judah, our big brother, our King of Kings and Lord of Lords, unstoppable, they're going to know he is the true Son of the Most High, coming to clean up house. I'm going to go with song. It's a short lesson tonight. Got to go to camp tomorrow. Chapter 9, verse 16. Let me start with there. Yahweh is known by the judgment which he execute the wicked, is sneer in the work of his own hands. Woo! Oh man, he's been set up. Huh? Here the Edomites think that they're almighty and powerful with using technology and bragging so much, boasting so much about how powerful AI is going to become, right? That our Savior is AI, that the solution to all the problems, AI has the answer, right? They want us to forget the true power that created all things and controls all things. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Let's go to 17. The wicked shall be turned into hell. Oh boy. I gotta read it again. The wicked shall be turned into hell. And all the nations that forgot Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. There you go. Yeah, right now this kingdom right now, this is our hell. Okay? There's no such thing as hell under the earth or in the ground. Okay? That's another big fat lie that these 501c3 incorporated prostitute churches been telling our people for years, right? Just like they've been saying that Jesus, right? The blue eyes, long blonde hair is the Son of God when he's not. That is Caesar Borgia. loves wearing high heels, and he's a murderer, right? Look it up, man. Look it up before they turn off the internet. Then we go to verse 18. He's a son of a pope, by the way. Verse 18, for the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectations of the poor shall not perish forever. Boy, how they try so hard with all our people, the so-called Negros, Latino, niggas, and Steco birds, right? They try so hard to commit genocide on us. And they can't not reach that level, right? With all the scientists and technology they have. And they know where we live because, FBI and CIA and all those keep an eye, especially with technology. They know what we eat, what we talk about, where we go, who we sleep with, right? What kind of women we like, right? I'm into fitness women, If they're into yoga, that's great. If they're contortionists, even better. Anyway, let me keep going. Verse 19. Arise, O Yahweh, and let not man prevail. Woo! Let the heathens be judged in thy sight. That's right. And he's going to judge righteously, even among our own people. He's going to judge us also righteously, which is beautiful. I'll leave it with verse 20. But then in fear, O Yahweh, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. That's right. These Edomites keep insisting that they're gods when they're not. Okay? They also get old and die. I hope that this was edifying, and with that I say, Shalom.